Today, I think I would like to share some of the informations about the academic and administrative audit. So what is to be important for that? You all know that NAAC has a criteria to evaluate as per the guidelines given by the peers of academicians who worked on that, and every higher education institutions have been evaluated for accreditation through the assessment. The NAAC has evolved the various tools, as I mentioned, and guidelines for improving the quality. Altogether, the quality for different levels of the higher education institutions. It includes colleges and the universities, and for its sustenance. That is most important. By establishing the internal quality assurance cell, in short, in abbreviated we call IQAC, and undergoing external quality assurance processes, it is possible to continuously strive for excellence. That is most important. Is the objective is the continuously strive for the excellence. And the last couple of days, I think the university has conducted a series of lectures, starts from the criteria 1 to 7, and also I think today we are going to have the observations and comments by our illustrious the NAAC, the advisor, Dr. Ganesh Reddy. So altogether, the monitoring and evaluation of the every higher education institution required a careful structured system of both internal and external review. That is most important. The NAAC expects the institutions, all the colleges and universities to undertake a continuous academic and administrative audit. First, before that, we must know that what is meant by the academic and administrative audits. The short form we call as a AAA, academic administrative audits AAA, which is very essential for the excellence in the higher education, which means for mainly the excellence in the higher education. So these are interrelated concepts have been focused for the quality assurance in every institutions, and thus in order to have a quality oriented academic processes, so there should be a strong administrative background. So it should be a strong both the governance and then both academic research and other the concepts of the processes which are required for to ensure the high quality of the academic institutions. First, we will see what is meant by the academic audit and underlying the principles. So it can be understood as a scientific and a systematic method. So the audit is a systematic method of reviewing the quality of the academic processes which have been conducted in every the colleges and the universities we call the higher education institutions. So it is interrelated with the quality assurance and enhancing the quality of the academic activities of the colleges and universities into total together it is called the higher education institutions. So the purpose of the academic audit is to, number one, to encourage the programs which have been offered in every higher education institutions, and then the departments, some university we call the schools in cluster, and the total institution, what finally to evaluate the quality processes. So there are some standards are based on the predetermined the benchmarks behind that one. So altogether the academic audit suggests the various the multifaceted activities which are required to produce the assure and improve the quality of the every institutions. So what do you mean by the administrative audit? So it can be defined as, number one, the process of evaluating the efficiency and effectiveness of the administrative the procedure or the methodologies. That's called the governance of the total governance of a institution, whether it is a college or the university. So here the academic administrative audit includes the assessment of the policies. the policies of the every institution, and what are the strategies they have been adopted, and the functions of the various administrative, the governance in each departments, or in schools or in total university of the higher education institutions. So overall, it controls the administrative system, the governance of the institution. So what are the various objectives? So for every program there is objectiveness. So what are the various objectives of the triple A in short? So first one, to understand the existing system, to understand what is the current existing system in every higher education institutions, colleges and universities, and assess the strength and weakness of the departments and administrative units, and to suggest, and finally to suggest the methods for what to improve, and the improvement on for overcoming the shortfall or the lacuna or the constraints. Altogether we call the weakness. So finally, to understand what are the various existing systems available in every institution, and what are the ways and means to improve the administrative and academic, the governance of the triple A through which. And to number two, the objective is to identify the bottlenecks in the existing administrative mechanisms, and to identify what are the various opportunities for the academic reforms. So whether we are following the reforms, for example, recently we introduced the NEP 2020. So what are the policies which are having a beneficial to every institution we can adopt through the administrative mechanisms, and to identify the opportunities and academic reforms of the whatever we are doing, focused by every government and the MHRD, and administrative reforms and simultaneously, and the examination reform. So it is a total reforms, and I think we are making all avoiding the bottlenecks, and giving the effective administrative mechanism for the opportunities in terms of the academic reforms, in terms of the administrative reforms, and in terms of the total feedback systems of the examination, etc. And third objective is to evaluate or the optimum utilization of the financial the grant resources and other resources available to run the institution, to run the higher education institutions, that also to be evaluated during the AAA audit. And finally, to suggest, after knowing all the academic, administrative and the financial resources of the governance, and finally to suggest the methods for the continuous improvement of the quality, in terms of keeping mind of the criteria and reports given by the NAAC and other the bodies, including experts who are evaluating the AAA and the reviewers. So these are the main objectives of the AAA. And next, what are the principles? What are the principles behind the academic audit? So based on the NAAC criteria, the AAA team draws attention to the following points. So what are the points? Number one, the AAA should focus or must focus on teaching, learning and evaluation process, that is the prime for every institution, whether it is a college or the universities, and how the teachers teach. So whether the conventional mode of teaching, or the following any type of the innovative, which includes the ICT. And current, I think during the pandemic period, you have been involving more on the online mode of the education. So I think we have the quality of the education has been imparting through the online education during this pandemic period. So both conventional and innovative, how the teachers are teaching, that is being evaluated, and how the students are learning with reference to the formal and informal way of the teachings by the teachers or the faculty, and through it, how the best the students are assessed, both the lifelong and the career oriented, and the learning methodologies what have been taught by the teachers. And then define the quality in terms of the learning outcomes, the program outcome and the program based, or the subject outcomes and CO mapping and etc. All, I think these are the very, very the essential parameter which all have been now focused in the evaluation methodology of the NAAC and during the evaluation process. So altogether it what? It aligned the learning objectives. So it aligned the learning objectives. And again also we are going to see the principles behind the alumni and the placement, and both are planned the ambassadors of the every institution. So these are the principles, and followed that there is a continuous improvement. There must be a continuous improvement, definitely will be there when you are continually and consciously strive to improve the total quality development, of the what? The students, the teachers and the institution. So here there is a tripartnership, a triangle, the relationship between the students, the teachers and the institution. So I think there is a continuous improvement of the tripartnership of the every process which have been underlying through the assessment through the academic audit. And then next is the administrative, that is a good governance. So it clearly defined the hierarchy. So what are they? So the every administrative governance behind the methodology, the practice, the system, and then the human resources development and other related policies, whether they are making all the policies in every institution in the transparent way to know about all the governance system for the stakeholders, for the parents, for the alumni, for the definitely the students, and how they are making the financial resources in effective way by adopting this suitable the strategies in running the institution, and then complaint resolution the mechanism. So these are behind the good governance which are all have been the assessed through the AAA. And then finally the public perception. I think this is now very essential to know about the higher education institutions, the colleges and universities, the accomplishment of the needs of the various stakeholders about the perception of a college, particular college, whether it is a university or the college. And then here the assessed by the students, stakeholders, parents, teachers, teaching staff, non-teaching staffs, the statutory authorities, society and altogether community. So the perception about a particular the individual college and the university that also have been assessed through the academic and administrative audit. This are also is a main the principle of the what? A AAA. So now currently we have been following all the academic peers you have been following. There are two types of the AAA in the academic audit, administrative audit. Generally there are two types. Number one is the internal AAA, the internal AAA and external AAA. So now we will see one by one what do you mean by the internal AAA or internal assessment and accreditation. Sorry, the audit. So what is mean by the internal AAA? So here the internal audit shall be done by the IQAC of the institutions, IQAC of the higher education institution. So the name itself is indicate that the nomenclature stating that the audit is by the internally by the IQAC. So every institution is expected to conduct the internal AAA at regular interval. That is most important, to know the quality of the particular institution at every interval, at every regular interval, to review the programs, what programs have been offered in undergraduate, postgraduate, and then also the doctoral, etc. and the activities. So what are the activities at the department level, and then what are the activities have been carried out in the school level, and what are the activities carried out in the university, and as a whole has been assessed. That is called through the internally by the members. So here the internal activity, the audit process might take like 2 to 3 days to complete the entire process according to the members who are evaluating, the members are the team members evaluating. The composition of the internal AAA team should be either from constituted by the IQAC, which IQAC take a major role in conducting this the internal AAA, and 3 to 5 senior teachers of the every institution, along with if it is a college vice principal or IQAC coordinator or etc., and involving the what, the head of the department, dean or anybody, and if it is a university or if it is a college, the principal, the vice principal and the heads of the departments in the universities, and then representative and management, and also the IQAC coordinator, and every criteria heads have been constituted formally. They will all be together in a committee. So these are the composition of the internal AAA auditing in a higher education institutions. And external, so this is the number 2 type of the AAA. So here I think in the nomenclature and the mean, it's for the external audit. External audit is to be done in the institution by the external peers or the experts. So here the composition of the external AAA team, which involves the consist of a chairman who must be a coordinating of the team members, and the team members will be 2 to 3 and peers, academic peers, and preferably the NAAC peer team member. So that will be most important. So I think their involvement will be more critical here, and they will definitely will involve in depth to know the institution of the I think the know about the auditing purpose in terms of qualifying all the standards of the criteria, and altogether they have much experience from the NAAC accredited A plus or A plus plus the institution, and finally they will all together identify the academic quality systems what have been there in the higher education institution, what are the process both in the academic, administrative and then governance system, and what are the various strategies and audit practices and methodologies they have been following in the universities, and altogether this will be done through the what called the external AAA for that. So through the two system of internal and the external AAA, and it will be more advantageous. Why we have to go about it, and to every year, and this mainly for the students benefits. It helps in eliminating the unnecessary the curricula overload, and dwells mainly on those essentially required for the success of the student's career. So there which we can know the students they desire, and students and in terms of the performance, and then students what they want really for their development in the particular college or the universities, and for the development of the institution. Altogether we know that in terms of the students perspective it required. So that is one of the advantage. Number 2, for the teachers, it helps in clarifying their roles and the responsibilities, and thus avoids the conflicts. So unnecessary conflicts in running the institution, in running the program, in carrying the various subjects, etc. All together will be clarifying the roles what they have been standing for, that will be assessed through the responsibilities. And finally the employers. So altogether it will be a boon to the governance entire system. It ensures the availability of the well-rounded students who can contribute from day one itself. So altogether it will be more advantageous for all the stakeholders, including the institution and the governance for the employers, etc. And also, as I mentioned, administrators. So it gives an insight into the overall quality of the institution by adopting the every year, or once in 2 years, or once in 3 years, or at least once in 5 years, which illustrate and focus on the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats of the institution. This will be a great boon to further improve the particular college or the universities, and altogether it will be beneficial to the management for the university. It ensures the proper use and effectiveness of the processes, systems, infrastructure practices, what have been there, and the infrastructure altogether, and then the human resources and facilities in every institution, and what the practice have been doing in the institution, and the way in which they are implementing the corrective measures, all will be a boon to the otherwise called advantages to by conducting the AAA in every institutions. And next, so what is the methodology? For every assessment of the AAA, there must be some standard norms or the procedure or the methodology. So it is expected the higher education institution may evolve its own guidelines and methodology. Again, the methodology is not a definite one, but there is a underlying principle is there, objective is there to carry out the AAA. But I think it will be differ from the college to universities in every part of the higher education institution by adopting a good practices, by adopting a good practice of the AAA followed by the leading institution within and outside India. So altogether what we require is the quality. So to compromise, without any compromise of the quality, we must adopt any type of the methodology which have been adopted in India or elsewhere. And finally, it should be a successful practice. It should be a successful practice which can be adopted to suit the specific context and the requirement of the every college and university on various aspects, and then adopting number one the criteria. There must be a first one is the formal criteria is that we have to follow that. Number two, the periodicity. Number three, the selection of the peer team or the experts who can have the capacity to evaluate the AAA. And then what are the process they are going to carry out in every higher education institution in terms of the AAA. And then finally, number five is the outcome. So we will go one by one. So what do you mean by the criteria? So here the internal quality assurance cell of every higher education institution can decide the set of the criteria to be used. I will tell you in the next coming slides what are the criteria to be followed for that. Even I have took one example for that. What are the strategies we have to adopt for a particular criteria to be used for the AAA. So some of the institutions follow the NAAC criteria. So normally we used to go about the NAAC criteria, the 7 based criteria, as it complements periodic assessment because it's a regular and then already have been proven technology in every part of the criteria, which has been already have been utilized to used by the NAAC and accreditation by the NAAC. So some of the institutions have developed slightly different than again according to the criteria. So altogether it is learned that some of the colleges and the universities have taken NAAC departmental evaluation format and have done in the department wise and then or sometimes the school wise or in the as a whole. So these are the principal methodologies have been behind the number one criteria. Number two, the periodicity. So how best we can conduct the AAA in over a period of the time intervals. So some of the higher education includes undertake the audit exercise on annual basis. Every year they used to conduct, and it's a very good practice. It's an exemplary process for if you conduct the audit in every year. So this will have your overall performance in a successful manner. You can improve the quality of the institution. So however, many higher education institutions prefer to do this exercise once in 3 years in some colleges or as a whole of the 5 years of the before the NAAC comes under. But altogether what we have to do is every assessment period, whether it is in a single year or once in 3 years or once in 2 years or altogether it must be uploaded in your website. What the internal and external the AAA you conducted in every higher education institute, and this exercise as the involvement of what the external and also by the internal both, and will be a good option. And then third is the selection of the peers and who will evaluate. That is most important. And that is more very important for that. The peer team review is backbone of the every AAA. So similar to accreditation by the NAAC, I think it is important to select a good composition of the peers of the experts who already has been the ample experience in the NAAC process. So even though no specific qualifications can be prescribed for the good peers, but it is vital. It is very, very important that peers should be able to command respect from faculty on the basis of their credentials, what they have already acquired during the assessment accreditation process through the NAAC, and then academic distinction, etc., etc. And there we have a pre-qualification to assess the AAA. That's why the selection of the peers or experts should be in a high profile way or in a high profile manner. And then process. So higher education institution can devise its own process of the evaluation, including self-evaluation by the faculty and administrative units, the schedule of on-site visit, and then format of the report and the outcomes, etc., etc. So all should to follow the NAAC's process and formats with some changes if you want to include or exclude. That is depends on the what you have extra than the what they prescribed by the NAAC. That is depends upon the higher education institution. Since if you have more options and more credential, you can include more also. As depends on the college or the universities. And then finally the outcome. So altogether, after adopting the peers and then methodologies, etc., etc., and the outcome altogether final, the outcome of the AAA may be placed where to place. It has to be placed before the governing body. If it is university, you have to place it before the academic council or the standing council or the senate or next to the highest executive council of the every institution, including the syndicate. So here the plan of action should be open, transparent, and can be prepared to implement with the suggestions and recommendations offered by the external peers of the team. That is in the form of the report. I think that is most important. So then only we can ensure a quality of the institution. We can sustain the quality of the institution. So here, just I wanted to give you a model format of the NAAC IQAC, what to be done for the academic and administrative audit. And these are just I am giving only example how to go about the NAAC or the IQAC academic administrative in the terms of the format. So before that, what we required is so overall the department or school name you have to profile in a way. Number two, and then you have to formally you have to give a formal welcome to a NAAC AAA team, the members, the team experts, and then you have to focus about every department or a school how it what is the origin or the genesis of the department and the history of the school from the establishment onwards. You have to focus before the AAA audit expert. And then next is every institution, every department, and then every school has to focus to, I think you have to focus about the vision, the mission, the goals and objectives of the school departments. If it is the overall of the institution, you have to focus for that. This is must and the predominant. And number 5 is the departments, centers, chairs, excellence centers in every departments, in every schools with the thrust area of the faculties, you have to focus. So these 5 information is very much essential before the audit teams. And then next is I think according to the NAAC, the criteria you can I think mention about what are all the credentials you have in the curricular aspects with reference to what type of the curriculum design and development you have, and then what are the curriculum planning and implementation you are following with reference to the curriculum design, the committee, and then students participation, and then what you have academic flexibility, whether you are following the CBCS for system of the flexibility you have, whether you have the inter and intra the mobility of the students carry over for taking the options to carry out the subjects for the elective choosing, whether you have, but altogether every department has to give that I think the options for that. And then what you have the curriculum enrichment. So I think you have to evaluate the monitor the curriculum enrichment of the program, Normally, every higher education institution, once in 3 years, you must update the curriculum, and there should be a new curriculum to the students. How frequently you updated the curriculum, or should you focus before the what the academic administrative audit experts, and finally you have to conduct the feedback. The feedback should be of the normally done by the senior faculty members, feedback system and analysis, and then it should be a definite forms are available. I think here the feedback, I think almost we also work for nearly 10 feedback systems are available. 10 feedback systems are available, starts from the students. Even students itself, we have the 4 types of the feedback system, and then rest from the altogether the governance system, and then the teachers evaluation, and then the parent evaluation, I mean the stakeholder evaluation, including the employers of our own students from the employed institution. So altogether everything should be assessed, and not only that, we have to assess. We have to not just like keeping all the forms in our college or forms in the university. You should be assessed the total the impacts of the feedback given by the every stakeholders, including the students. So altogether everything should be carried out in the curricular aspects, and it should be focused before the audit team. Next is which is very very important, is the teaching, learning and evaluation. So starts from the admission process, the reservation, the facilitation of the department, everything should be focused before the what adoption of the particular institution, and then mechanisms of what you have done in your department for the slow learners, tutorials, guidance, and what are academic calendar, whether you have for every department, and then teaching schedule, whether you are following the ICT facilities, how many the smart classrooms you have, and how best the students are benefited through that. Even now you can have a thorough checkup of the online and the mode of the teaching nowadays in the pandemic period. So everything should be followed, and you have to evaluate for that. And then faculty requirement as per the UGC, the vacancy position at the advanced degrees, what you have in your department, DSc, DLead, and any other postdoctoral the faculties, and then how many the reference at the FDP program you conducted, and then evaluation forms and reforms. I think you have to monitor and evaluate all the students, including the grievances reversal for the students, and then students' performance in academic criteria, and then finally the student satisfaction survey. So the triple is also to be conducted. I think you have to complement. I think calculate each and every minute micro level data. I think you have to focus before the triple A in terms of the teaching and learning evaluation. I think this is most important for the most of the universities. I think, and also the PG institution having the research facilities. I think how best you have the research cell. You have what are the research policy you have, and what are the committees encouraged for the faculty to involve in the research, and then what are the funding mobilization from the various extramural resources from the India and abroad, and then whether you conducted the regular program of the awareness about the research, the culture in your the department or the university, and then facilities available in the research laboratories, instrumentation, provisions, etc. And then finally, what are the outcome in terms of the publication, books and monographs, which are all according to the Scopus, ISI, or at least the UGC prescribed the standard, the journal types, and then publication in terms of the books, ISBN categories, and then awards, citation. Even when you are talking about the citation, you must focus about the citation index, citation classics, H index, and also the citation factor, etc., including the impact factor of the every department, and then impact factor per teacher, per department, per year, unit wise you have to calculate. You have to show cost, all those things before the AAA committee. Consultancy, how much resources you generated, and then through the consultancy, through the national and international agencies, extension activities, what are the CSR activities, and what are the various clubs, village adoption, technical know-how all together, and collaboration. So what are your internal, external collaboration, both in the national and abroad, and how much students are benefited through the internship, taken over to the other countries for the enrichment of the knowledge, and then replay, and also for the placement. MOE sign, active MOU with the taken, action taken against the MOU. I think this is most important for the PG institution involved in the research, and then also the higher education institution, universities. Innovation system. So what are the innovative? Innovative, what are your role in the industry way? So what are the industry, academia, innovative practices? And then what are the innovation method? How many incubation centers you created? And then what are the on campus, off campus? So all together, everything should be focused. And number 9 criteria to be, in this AAA before the audit is the infrastructure and learning. So what are the physical facilities? And then what are the infrastructure facilities available, including the library? And then Wi-Fi connectivity, ICT modes, etc. So altogether we have to show in terms of the what facilities available for conducive learning. That is most important word in code is the for the conducive learning of the students. And then student support and progression. Students, whether you have the students mentoring and support system, and how you are assessing the students progression, how many students have been progressed, how much they got it in the placement, and then also for the higher education. So all together students progress for achievement you have to show, and then participation in various activities which includes the sports, that is and then games, co-curricular, extracurricular, all together should be mentioned before the before the AAA committee. And finally, this is most important for the administrative audit. So here the institutional vision and leadership, and the strategy development and deployment, and then faculty empowerment strategies, financial management, that is more important. You are to evaluate by the every AAA committee is the what are the financial management and resource mobilization in every department and university, and whether you have a defined and active the IQAC in every department and school and universities, and through that what are the innovations. So what are the technology development, product design, and the new ideas developed in every the higher education institution, that has to be through the your innovation center or the incubation center you have to focus. And all together you have to focus the find the finite value of the what the institutional values, the institutional values and social responsibilities you have to display before the AAA committee. And then also you have to do what are the environmental practices, best practices you've done in terms of the energy, in terms of the environment, in terms of the carbon sequestration, in terms of the greenery, and then audits, both audits, I think green audit, and then also your the energy audit. So all audits should be done for every institution. So in other words, the total the scenario of the social responsibilities as well as the values of the every institution you have to, I think explicitly you have to show cost before the committee. That will have a high impact before the committee, and it will be facilitate you to further to show it before the for the DVV process of the NAAC evaluation, and then also for the assessment before the NAAC peer team, so PTV. So I think these are the very important that you have high mark, you can score very well in the institutional values and social responsibilities, and these are can be focused before the AAA. And finally, this is most important. I think you have to, I think every AAA auditors, they will definitely they will assess, and every institution, every department has to show that what is your strength, what is your weakness, what is your opportunities are available, and what are the challenges. The SWOT analysis you must focus, and the NAAC and then IQAC assessed also will be focused there, and the peer team in the AAA, they also will assess you your all the SWOT of the every school and every department, and through that the visit either internally or the externally. So altogether, finally, I think best practice of the every the institution and the distinctness of the every department and the university. I think here every department has to show at least a minimum 5 minimum 5 unique achievements of the school has to showcase before the committee, and that will be you are clear, but in quote, that attribute what you call the in quote distinct with the other the department comparison or other school or other department. And finally you have to give before the committee is the achievements of the cluster of the schools. If you are in your university and then you are in a department, maximum achievements in terms of the 5, not the regular, but should be of unique what you achieved in the last 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or altogether 5 years of the period. And then finally you can enumerate in the order of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after showcasing and projecting all the points of this 15 or 16, then finally you have to show that what is your roadmap. So what are the points you have in your mind for the next 3 years, next coming years? That is the future plan of activities for the next 5 years, or any 5 you can choose, you can focus. So that will be a main activities of that. So these all the 17 points you have to showcase, you have to prepare in 30 minutes of these slides, 30 minutes of the duration of the slides. You have to show it before the AAA external peers of the members, and finally they will evaluate. Just for example, I am telling you there are nearly, if it is a university, I think according to the NAAC guidelines with the new set of framework, etc. And we work that, and in fact I work that nearly 85 files. There are 85 files minimum should be kept in your department, and I think that I'm going to focus all those things. 85 files should be kept before the AAA committee by the external peers of members, and that will also more useful for the DVV process of the NAAC, and then also this will be useful to the PTV team visit through your university. So for example, for the one criteria I have chosen, what are the files to be kept for every criteria of the 3, that is research innovation, including incubation and extension activities. Number, records related to the research fellowships. For that, what are the records to be submitted? I think the AAA team has to give a comments for that, the remarks for that, whether the particular files are submitted or not. You have to give it, or not submitted, you can frankly say that not submitted. So here you have to, I think every team has to furnish the details regarding the fellowships, what the fellowships are there in the national, international, and then enrollment details of the JRF, SRF, PDF, RA, research associate in your school or in your department. So you have to give the details of the JRF, SRF, etc. with corresponding communication. So corresponding communication, the original certification by the funding agencies, and then the records related to conduct of these seminars. And here you have to mention and every details of the seminar and conferences and the IPR innovation institutions, etc. So for everything we have to keep, for example, the records of the PhD awarded. So here the details should be, the file should be kept for the thesis, the Viva's communication related to the records, and then research publication. So here you have to give at least minimum UGC CAR list of journals, including the other list, and then books listed, ISBN listed with the ISBN number, etc. So I think similar way we have to furnish the details of everything by every individuals, and then the final data. And then for example, the records related to the revenue generated to the consultancy. So how many consultancy you have conducted? For that you have to give the consultant name, the letter of intent, the income generated, the nature of work, the consultancy policies, etc. All together you have to keep the files individually under the category 46. For example, if it is the file 47, the file 47 should contain what? The details of the extension program, organized, who are all the beneficiaries with the list, and then their feedback, and then expenses, photos, press news, etc. All together the file number 46 should contain. And similarly, for example, the 52, the records on budget allocation and utilization every the department. For that you have to keep a particular file, the details of the copy of the budget allocation for the department and utilized through the fund, and then account settlement, and including the account settlement in terms of the what, the auditing, the audit by the financial auditors, that should be kept in the file 52. Similar way, for example, the 54, the PhD thesis. So here what you have to keep your one file on thesis of the examiner, external, evaluation report of the supervisor, external, and then presentation of the papers related to the conferences, quality of the thesis and conference paper. So altogether the 54 files should contain. And similarly, I think we have to keep in the 58, for example, the departmental projects. How many projects you have in the last 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. Here the file should be kept, I think, regarding the coordinators of the particular project, deputy coordinators, and then advisory committee members, then advisory committee members meeting, fund allocated, utilized, lab established, project carried out, fellowships, the recruitment of the project fellows. Every record should be kept in the file number 58. So similar way, I think I have enumerated, I practiced nearly 85 files. So after verification of the files of the total 85 in all the seven criteria, and we have to, every assessor of the AAA should, I think they have to give the, in writing in the report, that files submitted. Out of the 85, how many files have been submitted in the category, they have to mention, and files not submitted, they have to mention. And accordingly, all the 3 members, including the chairman of the AAA, has to sign, and then with the designation. So this is what the format. And finally, the report should be given based on the files verification of the 85 total in a particular department, after presentation by the coordinator or the heads of the department or the dean, after presentation of the every 85 inner components during the AAA before the audit experts, and finally the audit experts will give a report called the report of the academic and administrative audit. So this I'm giving here one sample of the report. What they have to given is the name of the department. For example, name of the department is it, for example, it's a Department of Physics. Name of the school, it contains Department of Physical, School of Physical Sciences. And then auditor members' name, who are all the auditors visited externally. And then files verified, who verified among the members, their name. And they have to, all the 3 members of the committee, they have to give what? The strengths of the department or the cluster of schools. And they have to identify what are the weaknesses of the departments per school. And then what are the opportunities of the department. They have to identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And challenges of the departments, they have to identify. And overall academic performance, this is most important, and it should be all the 3 experts of the AAA, they have to, based on the the 85 files of the careful verification, along with the presentation of the particular dean or the school head or the department head, they have to give the performance in terms of excellence, whether it is very good, whether it's good, satisfactory, poor, or finally they need improvement. So this should be, I think every member, I think, have to, with the coordinated way, they have to give the overall performance of the particular department or particular school or the overall of the university. So then finally the auditor, the external auditor, has to give the suggestions. That is most important. Our aim is not only to give the performance, and also they have to identify what are the suggestion for further improvement after 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years. I think they have to give for the more improvement, and this should be of the 10 points. So every criteria wise, they have to identify the improvement that they have to identify and give in the bullet forms, and that will be a good one. And before it should be submitted to the, I think, to the for uploading in the website. I think this must be there in the your report. And then overall remarks. So what are the recommendations by the auditors? So you can, if you want, you can use it more. So what are the overall remarks of the particular department or the school of the in clusters? And altogether, the chairman has to sign the signature of the member and then other member and then designation and all. So these are all the general, just I'm giving an example, the report of the academic and administrative audit after having the thorough investigation of your particular demand. I think the criteria wise, and they will give you the report, and this report will be placed before the academic council or your senate and syndicate or the executive council, and finally it should be with the approval of that one. You have to place it in the your website of your particular institution, and this will be facilitated to all. And also this will be a open document. This will be open document in the website, so every stakeholder can gone through the can go through the your all the criteria wise what you have achieved so far in the 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or altogether 5 years, and this will be the overall of the quality assurance of the your department. So altogether the AAA is for the what? The quality assurance. So the quality assurance and educational quality are no longer, what the luxurious in today's world. So that is most important. So the final, I think the impact, the fruitfulness is the what? The quality assurance. And number two is the quality assurance in terms of the most of the cases is encouraged. But is encouraged by continuous self-assessment. Continuous self-assessment before entering into the NAAC accreditation. You can know, I think, know what you have in your department, in your school by internal and external auditing. And then this accreditation and also what you call the your assessment will provide you the what? The public confidence. Altogether, this will be show cost to every public, your stakeholders, and what we have in your college or your institution. So this will all finally use accreditation, contributes to the unity of the professions by bringing together the best way the practitioners and the teachers and the students as a whole, the stakeholders in an activity directed and improving the professional preparation and professional practice you have to ensure in every college or the university. To conclude that one, the AAA academic and administrative audit helps the institution to impart the quality culture. So that is the most important, which give the impact of the imparting the quality culture. Number two, it helps to perform better in all aspects of the criteria of the academic functioning. Not only the academic functioning and also the administrative governance functioning system in a very higher education institution. It also helpful for the benefit of all the stakeholders, parents, alumni, etc., etc. So possible for all the institution to continuously. So that is most we call it the sustenance. So continuously strive for excellence. Continuously strive for the excellence because of the academic and administrative audit. So that is most important. So I think every institution has to involve very actively by conducting the AAA, conducting the academic administrative audit. It is very, very, very essential and must for every higher education institutions, and to strive to strive for the excellence, to strive for the excellence. So with this short note, I thank you everyone for the patient hearing. Thank you one and all for that.